I'm now joined by Saud Masud. He's head of Middle East research at UBS, and he joins us from Dubai. Thanks so much for joining us. So tell me, what do you think about BP's options here? It can go ahead and sell some assets. It can look for strategic investors in the Middle East. What do you think its best option is?
Well, I think the option for chasing strategic investors in the Middle East is a sound one. I mean, typically, when you look at the sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East, they are generally passive investors. So the noise factor from a shareholder perspective is pretty low. They have significant capital. Then they also invest for the long term. And traditionally, they've invested in the European and the Western markets in large cap names. And when we can pick up BP at 50% cheaper than its recent highs, then I think it makes a lot of sense for both parties.
But Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds, they're trying to diversify away from oil. So why would they take this opportunity?
Well, I think it's another way to take advantage of the current market conditions. They're fairly open and agnostic to all sectors, whether it's financials, whether it's automotive, and I think for them it's just another way to park capital at a good ROI. So I'm not so sure if this is really going to come down to playing the oil trade or not.
Right. And do we really think that this would be a cheap investment for them, an opportunity to get in at the ground here? I mean, these costs are spiraling out of control. You might see costs for the oil spill going into tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah, that's clearly a risk they're taking, and quite frankly, I mean, if you look at the historical records of some of these investments at these SWIFTs, they've not really called the bottom in some of these stocks. So I would really caution investors that by a SWIFT stepping into a stock like BP right now, it doesn't necessarily imply that we've really troughed in terms of the risk in the stock itself.
Okay, now you say that Middle Eastern strategic funds or sovereign wealth funds would be passive investors, but do you think that they'd like to see a change at the top at BP?
For the most part, it's not in their style. They tend to be fairly large. I mean, if you look at ADIA publicly, at least what people know of is north of 500 billion fund. So I think when they park capital, they tend to really stay, not really come in the limelight, not really try to pressure the management too much. I think given the stock has declined, almost 50%, the BP stock, I think the management's got enough pressure to deal with. So I would not be too sure about how a sovereign wealth fund would really impose its views on management at this point. I think for them, it's again taking positions more than anything else. And I think Kuwait Investment Authority is a classic example of that. They already have a position in the stock, I think less than 2%. I would not be surprised if they build that position up from here.
All right, Saud Masud, head of Middle East research at UBS, joining us there live from Dubai. Thanks very much.